What's going on, guys? It's Taz again with twowheeltoys and Tandt Trading. Today I have one that I am super excited about. We're getting back to bikes, not doing the vehicles today. This is just random, but picked up this sucker the other day, 2001 FDX. It's got a bunch of work done to it. She's a ripper. Got this one too, not super excited about it. It's a 2008 Dyna or 2006 Dyna. Now what we're doing today is my personal stunt bike. This is a 2000 FDX Dyna, Harley Dyna obviously. And today I'm gonna be building it into a full-blown stunt bike. I have $5,000, over $5,000 worth of parts sitting on the table right now I'm about to go through. And we are about to build this thing into a ripper. I'm gonna be doing a ton of burnouts, ton of wheelies, all kinds of crazy shit with it. So I will be showing you exactly what you need to do on build one of these suckers to make her into a ripper. Literally the only thing I've done to it so far is stole the exhaust tips because I bought this one without exhaust tips. So anyway, I'm gonna get into all the parts and show you what I'm gonna do, and then I'll show you kind of what we're getting into, and then I'll go beat the crap out of this son of a bitch. Before I get into the parts, one thing that I think is interesting, this bike and that bike are actually the exact same bike. This one's just got all kinds, I mean, that one's about to get all kinds of work done to it too, but this thing's pretty sick. It's definitely a cruiser, not a stunt bike by any means, but I dig it. Good for burnouts, that's for damn sure. Anyway, all right, so what we're going to be doing to this one, I'm just going to go down the line because there's a bunch of crap. Just transmission gaskets and whatnot because I'm taking all the transmission parts out. This is a Big Bear motor mount kit. If you're going to be stunting Harleys at all, I don't care what it is, don't even try riding wheelies on it without getting a Big Bear motor mount kit. Right here, they will end up breaking from, setting it down hard because obviously you're wheeling a 500-pound motorcycle. So when you set it down, those crack all the time. I'll show you how this replaces all of that, makes it a lot stronger. That's what kind of all this stuff is. This is going to be a tap and a 6-inch brass tube for the oil pan mod. I'm going to have to drop the oil pan. Just obviously when you ride wheelies on these things, the oil pickup is in the front. So I'm going to drill a hole into the oil pan or into the motor and tap it, put that brass tube in there so it's a little bit further. So when I'm riding wheelies, it's not starving for oil. Obviously, primary gasket. I'm going to run an EBC front wave rotor for it. So I'm hoping I can get away with just doing one single rotor and I'll be happy with it. But I might do dual rotors, but at the moment, I'm just going to do singles. I got a chain conversion kit. Got ourselves a gold chain. I'm running stock gearing at the moment. I might go down on or up on teeth on the rear, but that's that. This is a kickstand spring. Actually, the only time I've ridden this bike is when I test rode it, and then I put it in my my truck, and I did a big-ass burnout in the bed of my truck, and as I was unloading it, the kickstand spring broke. So anyway, that's that. Oil filter. This is just the cover for the battery's missing, so I'm putting a new one on. I've got a Homegrown Industries titanium block I'm going to be putting on the rear fender. Obviously, I'm going to be chopping the rear fender. I'll show you all how to do that. And then I'll be mounting this somewhere in here and making her scrape, baby. Oh, what else do we got? Got some new grips for it. Got some new suspension. These are 14-inch. What are these things called? Bazooka HD? Anyway, I've never tried them. I can get these dealer price, so I was like, screw it, I'll go ahead and buy them. Also, I guess I can say this now, all of these parts that I'm about to go through, I'm going to be working with these companies to try and get most of these on my website so I can get them to you for a little bit cheaper and you can get them through me. Yeah, but anyway, I'll tell you how I like all of them. And if there's anything I don't like, obviously I won't sell it on my website. But the things I do like, I will. But yeah, these are 3-way adjustable too. So I think this is going to be comparison to Legends. And we shall see. But those I can 100% get good pricing on. So if you're interested in these, shoot me a text or give me a call. My information I always put at the end of the video. And any of these parts, you're welcome to ask me if I can get them for you. Again, if you want me to build a bike like this, I can do that for you too. So I have a shop, obviously. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to be doing the extra plate heavy duty clutch kit as well. Energy One Performance. That's another thing I get through WPS. This is going to be for the carburetor mod. This has a stock CV carburetor on it, so I am going to have to drill a hole in that, block one of the vents off so it doesn't leak gas and stutter and whatnot when I ride wheelies. I'll show you how I do that. That is a need if you're going to be riding wheelies on the Dynas or any carbureted Harley. This is just thread sealant so it doesn't leak here. Oh, what else do we got here? This is the mount for the exhaust, which is over there. I'll show you in a minute. I got a TC Bros skid plate that I'm going to put on it just because I get rowdy and I will probably bang some curbs and who knows what else. This bike's going to take a beating. Let's just put it that way. I got a TC Bros crash bar, and so we'll see how I like that. Just the lower one. And then, I guess I did get the shock crash bar as well. So I got lower down here, and then the ones will go back on the shocks too. I got some TC Bro mounts for the handlebars or for the risers, just because right now it's got rubber risers in there and they feel like shit. So these are solid risers. You can get those from TC Bros. Thrashing supplies, mid-bend bars is what I got. I didn't get the fatty bars just because I didn't get the fatty risers. So okay. Sorry, there's a lot of freaking parts. I got some new spark plugs. These are super fancy, actually. Look at these things. The color on them is sick. Look at these. Ooh, boy. I don't know. They were expensive, but they're cool. Anyway, if you haven't noticed, I would like to spend a lot of money on my bikes to make sure they're perfect because I beat the living crap out of them and I want them to put up to the abuse. So anyway, other than this, brake pads, EBC brake pads. I got the Flow Racing. That's the brake pedal. Those are just Amazon foot pegs and whatnot. We'll see how I like those. I had those on my other bike. Didn't mind them too much. Tracker die case saver. That's just going to go like on the frame, and it's going to be in conjunction with the Big Bear mount. So basically, if it gives it all, it'll hit that instead of breaking any mounts. What else? TC Bros. This is their risers. They're 2-inch pullback riser. This is the 8-inch riser. I'm probably going to order some 6-inch too, but the cool thing about these, you can literally just swap them out. It's not a big deal. So, I don't know. I think 8's going to be a little bit high, but we'll see once I put it on. I've got the RSC clutch lever. Really, that's the only way to go with a Harley. Don't get the cheap shit. There's ball bearings in here, and it really freaking, it's awesome. Got the Dynatech TC88 ignition. This just allows me to set ignition curve and then also set my rev limit so I can give her some and this bike is going to see a lot of rev limiter. I'm just going to tell you that right now. All right, almost done. Spark plug wires, just I wanted some heavy duty, nice spark plug wires. And then we've got the intake for the get rid of all this ugly crap. And in the last video, I forgot to show you the exhaust, but I got a Sawicki Speed exhaust system, 2-into-1. This is something I can get dealer pricing as well. So I'm in the process of putting things on my website. My website kind of sucks right now. But if you want anything, feel free to call me or text me and I can get you pretty good prices and stuff like that. And then I guess I'll do a quick walk around of this sucker, what it looks like beforehand. Also, if you are trying to buy or build a Dyna stunt bike, The best years to do so is 1999 through 2002. They actually have a Timken bearing bottom end, which just basically means the transmission is extremely strong. So most of the stunt guys you'll see running a 1999 through 2002. Some guys will say 2000 through 2002. Anyway, so they're kind of hard to find. This one is a 2000, and this one, honestly, when I got it, I still had all the old bags for it, and they had the stock windshield and everything. Well, the guy gave them to me with it. He literally put these little risers and shit like that on, but these are cheap risers and whatnot. So anyway, this is what it looks like beforehand, and it is about to get a whole lot of freaking work here in a second. Well, it's another day. I'm here working on the 2000 FXD. And we are having a snow fest here in Texas. I'd like to call it an ice fest instead of a snow fest. But yeah, this is Texas. Just me getting here was pretty wild, let's put it that way. I live a half an hour away from the shop. Today on this episode of Ice Road Truckers. But anyway, I didn't really get sorry, I'm like super close up. I haven't really gotten a whole lot done on the Dyna. I rewatched those videos. I kept calling it an FXD or FDX. I don't know what kind of brain fart I was having. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway. Well, of course, teardown's been very easy. I'm not completely torn down yet, but for the most part. The only noteworthy thing, I'm about to do the oil pan mod. This little bolt right here, take you an Allen head, just cut it. And then take you a needle nose once you get it loose and just slowly turn it out. Because obviously you can't really get anything between the frame in there. Other than that, I mean, honestly, there's nothing really noteworthy about taking this shit apart. Yeah, stay clean. Be organized. Do not be a freaking piece of shit mechanic that lays shit out and makes a mess all the time. That's not a professional. That's a back road freaking, I don't know. That's not what I am. So keep your work areas clean as possible. Keep everything in order. I use one of these. Depending on what I'm taking out, those parts will go there. These parts will go here. You know what I'm saying? Makes life a lot easier in the future. I mean, I know these things inside and out, but why make life harder on yourself when you can just be clean, be organized, and make a good machine that'll actually last? If you're gonna work like shit, your product's gonna end up like shit too. Well, got the oil pan off this sucker. I'm about to do the oil pan mod. All you need to do that is 6-inch brass pipe that is threaded on both sides, and then you need a tap that is, let's see, 1/4 inch by 18 NPT. Has to be national pipe thread. And honestly, this is very simple. Take your baffle out. After we do this, you will be drilling some, making some room in this thing. But anyway, this is your oil pickup. So it sits like this. So when I'm riding a wheelie, obviously all the oil is going to go to the back and it's not going to get any oil. So I am going to thread this piece into here, and obviously that'll move it back a lot more. And yeah, it's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory. Use some grease on your tap when you're running it in there. Normally with the tap, you would hit a drill bit in here as well, but honestly, it is literally the perfect size. So just try and keep it straight, and kind of get her in there, get her started a little bit, and then get a wrench on it and just slowly turn it, and it'll make you some threads. And then, yeah, I'll get back once it's done and all cleaned up. Well, sorry for the shitty camera work. It's kind of hard to record this stuff without a cameraman and or a stand of some sort. You're like sitting on a bunch of tools right now. But anyway, got the oil pan all cleaned up. Threaded that in there. You just take channel locks, get it as tight as you can. Don't get crazy. Put the thread sealant on there, high temperature thread sealant, and then wipe off the excess once you get it tight. Now the only other thing you're gonna have to do for the oil pan mod is see this little channel right here on the baffle. You basically need to follow this all the way back. So cut it. So yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. I guess I'll let you watch me do that. Why not? All right, well, here's the finished product. Everything should be extremely clean. Man, if you're working on bikes and you're not extremely clean, you need to work on something else, because you're literally talking about people's lives here. So if you screw up and something falls apart, well, that's your fault. Anyway, sorry. I'm very picky about how I work and the work I do. Anyway, so that channel, you're going to just take a Dremel tool and or a grinder or whatever and channel it out. And then once it goes in there, it should not rock back and forth at all. It should sit in there flush. If it's rocking back and forth, well, then it's hitting the tube and you need to do a little bit more. But as it sits right now, that is perfect. I'm going to just throw it back in the bike now. All right, I'm about to do the carb mod. The carb mod is very simple. It's so that when you are riding a wheelie, the carb sits in there like this, goes to the side, and this vent, of course, I'm holding my phone. This vent right here, it just leaks gas. So all you do, take you some steel stick, jam it in that hole, and then you're going to relocate the vent right here. I'm gonna try and set my phone down and get that on video real quick. All right, that's the best I can do for right now. So yeah, literally just pack it in this hole. I mean, don't get too crazy, but definitely make sure it's completely full. So it's as easy as that. Just make you a little hole right there. And then that is the little block right there. All right, now we're in the process of installing the Big Bear motor mount. The Big Bear motor mount is pretty easy. You're gonna take your stock motor mount completely out. You're not gonna use that whatsoever. And then, you know, it says right or left. You can just bolt it in here, keep it loose. Then you're going to take the side that says R for right. That goes inside, and that will go right here like this. And then you will take your little bushing, I suppose, and you're gonna line up that little nipple or whatever, aligning pin, and you know, you're gonna bolt it up, bolt it right there, and then you're gonna use your big Allen head nut or Allen head bolt right there, bolt it all together, and then pretty much the same exact thing on the other side. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna make it correspond with this crash bar. I think I'm gonna do the crash bar on the outside, and I think that's what most people do, but I guess we'll see here in a second. All right, so we've run into a pretty big problem. It is fixable, but it's gonna be a pain in the ass. So I'm running the Big Bear motor mount. Most stunt guys, if you're gonna be stunting, you run a Big Bear motor mount because you'll crack the case. So stunt guys also wanna run a crash bar because when you're stunting, you knock your bike over. Well, of course, the crash bar and the Big Bear motor mount at the exact same space or spot. So now this is way too skinny. So either you can run one or the other. So what I'm gonna do, don't put it on the inside because these have to clamp down and it holds the motor, you know, in line. So what I'm gonna have to do after spending $200 and something on this, so I didn't have to make one, I'm gonna have to cut it, re-weld it, make it a little bit wider, and just make it work that way. So just in the future, if you guys are doing this, do not get a TC Bros motor or a crash bar with the Big Bear motor mount. They don't work together. All right, here's what we're working with. I got it all cut apart. I'm gonna have to move each side out about a ½ inch, give or take, and then it will finally clear that. So I'm gonna weld her up and I'll be back here in a second. Got the risers on. I went with this 8-inch, and I think I'm gonna have to go down to the 6-inch because that's pretty tall, but we'll see. Another little trick, if you have bars that are not dimpled and you have this cable, obviously if you put the brake master cylinder on, it's just gonna pinch the wires and whatnot. So normally they got a little dimple like on these bars, but a lot of the stunt stuff doesn't. So all you got to do, get you a Dremel tool, and I am gonna Dremel a little hole right here so that the wires come out down here instead of out the side and in the handlebars and whatnot. Another thing I'd like to say is you better watch out for these suckers. They'll kick your ass. Got my little pinky. I was just like, zzz, and it caught and went, and got my freaking pinky. I'm like, oh my goodness. But anyway, I just thought I'd tell you guys that. Well, obviously I'm going to clean it up, but this is what I was talking about. Literally just make a little hole right here so that the wires will come out, and then you can, you know, put a zip tie or something like this. It'll be fine. Another cool little trick to get grips off. It works so freaking good. Anyway. So, I got the bars on, got that RSC clutch lever on. I might get rid of this. Actually, I am going to get rid of this completely. I'm just going to get rid of the wires because I don't need it. Who needs blinkers and a horn, high beam and low beam? Not where I'm going. I got the crash bar all welded up, and like I said, I moved it to the outside. So I just re-welded it on the outside of the Big Bear motor mounts, and it works great now. Got the shocks on, and I am about to cut the rear fender and put the titanium block on. Oh, wherever the heck it's at. It's around here somewhere. But anyway, so what I do to cut the rear fender is get you a straight edge and try and keep it. I normally do like right about at that, like right about there is where I'm going to cut it. Maybe a little bit more. But I try to keep it in line with the like ground. You know, that's why I use the straight edge, because when you're riding a wheelie, you want it to be flat on the ground when you're scraping. So anyway, I'm about to cut that and yeah, and then re-weld her up and see what we got. It is officially fender chopping time now, boys. Woo! All right, let's get her done. There you go. Goodbye, old stupid fender. Hello, fender can do some wheelies. Woo! Now I'm pull the fender off and box it out and put that titanium block on it. Well, I have the rear fender cut. This is how I normally like to cut them. Right, I don't know, what, about an inch past this little bracket for the tail light and the license plate holder. If you take it and you cut just a little bit, don't cut all the way through this, then you can bend this over, and then that will act as a support, and you could weld to that and whatnot. Also, clean the inside a decent amount because you're going to use L brackets. You know, I'm going to do an L bracket here just to kind of strengthen it up and whatnot. But this is normally how I like it. This is about, I don't know, maybe a little bit further back, you know, but I like to use that bracket. So anyway, I'm going to weld it up. I've got this plate right now that I'm going to weld up on there, and we good to go. All right, so we got the fender back on the bike. Just obviously weld it up from the inside, weld it up from the outside, and then take a grinder and just grind everything smooth. Yeah, I know the fender looks like shit. The paint looks like shit, but whatever, dude. I'm going to repaint the whole bike anyway. And I obviously had that all scraped down or sanded down, so I said, screw it. I'm just going to paint it black. And then it started running, and I was like, oh, that might look cool. Anyway, ready for Scrape City now. Hell yeah. I think she's pretty freaking deep. It's gonna be back there, but hell yeah, I dig it. I dig it for sure. I think it turned out pretty damn good. Another thing quickly that's a little bit noteworthy, when you put your TC Bro crash bar, the top for the shock mount, there is a bigger spacer that goes here and a smaller spacer that goes on this side. I put two bigger spacers on this side and it barely reached. I'm like, man, what the hell? And obviously I figured it out. But anyway, that is the only other little tidbit of information you might need. Well, the crash bars work pretty good. I laid it on its side to put the skid plate on because I put the tracker die case saver on there, and I kind of got it on an angle because I usually used one and it doesn't have the right gapping, so whatever, screw it, she'll ride. Anyway, but I was putting on side to do, oh look, the little shaft came out. Oh man, it's been a long day. She's getting close though. Whoo, boy, she's looking better and better. Got that exhaust on. I got a few little things to do. I got to do the battery box still. Things that are noteworthy would be when you're doing the chain conversion kit, this transmission bolt or transmission nut for your front sprocket is going to be reverse thread, and you're probably going to use a little bit of heat on it. Don't go crazy. And you're going to need one of these crazy sprocket nuts or sprocket sockets. I was going through that in my mind. I'm like, it can't be a sprocket socket. Yeah, sprocket socket. But, you know, anyway, this will sit over and, you know, this piece goes on the threads. So it's really deep. Yeah. So other than that, I'm going to do the chain conversion kit real quick. And then I'm pretty much done. I'm going to, you know, kind of go through everything and set it up the way I want it. And then she's ready for a rip. So we're turning the chain conversion kit. Obviously your front sprocket goes here. You'll put your sprocket nut on, and then you'll have your keeper on so it doesn't come off, and two little bolts that go in that. When you put your rear on the Dynas, you're obviously going to put the spacer behind the sprocket, and then this is going to go on the very front. And you just bend these little tabs up and it'll hold the bolts in your rear sprocket so they don't fall out. Still red Loctite every single one just to be safe because these back out a lot. And yeah, I got a sick gold chain, boy. Hell yeah. Alright, so now I'm installing the Energy One extra clutch kit. So it's got an extra plate, so your judder springs you're not going to use, and then your stock clutch has a smaller fiber, it's just a little bit thinner. You're not going to use that either. The only noteworthy things is obviously you're going to start with a fiber, and then your steels, they have two different orientations. You either have a sharper side or a side that's kind of rounded. The rounded side on every single one goes in. Your fibers you should soak in primary oil for at least an hour before you throw them in. The steels you can put in dry because obviously these are going to be wet anyway. And yeah, I think it's 9 steels and 10 fibers, but anyway, just gonna one on the other. And yeah, that's the only thing that's important to know about putting in the new clutch. First startup, don't mind the mess in the back, it's just extra parts. Shit, look who's finally running. I'm gonna beat the shit out of this thing. Put that chain on, boy. All right, so one thing I kind of overlooked because I didn't think that they were going to show up in time, but it's definitely a must if you're going to build a stunt Harley. New springs and then gold valve emulators. Springs obviously will stiffen it up. I got Racetech springs. These are the old ones. These are progressive. They're very spongy on small hits, and then you get a hard hit, and it's very aggressive and very harsh. So I'm going to be taking the dampening rod style fork. I'm going to be adding a gold valve emulator. Long story short, these will sit on top of the, or I guess will sit like this, on top of the dampening rod. And then I drilled out these holes. I added more holes and then drilled them out. So basically, this is the old dampening system. This will not work anymore. It'll just allow fluid to flow freely. Now all of the dampening will be done inside this gold valve. Long story short, it'll be a lot smoother and it will not bottom out as much when you come down from a hard wheelie. I took it out and I literally did one wheelie with it and set it down and bottomed it out, and I didn't want to break my cases. So anyway, doing this now. Yeah, it's pretty much straightforward. I'll show you how to cut the springs and whatnot in a second. All right, so setting oil level on these is pretty simple. I got the book. It actually just came with my bike, so I might as well use it. In here, it is saying that you want 316 cc's of oil when it's completely empty. I'm gonna put 320, and then normally it's 10 weight. I'm gonna mix 10 weight and I don't know how, I'm like so close. I'm gonna mix 10 weight and 30 weight, and I'll see how it feels, just because I want it as stiff as possible, and I'm thinking the 10 weight's going to be a little bit too thin, even with the gold valve and the springs. So I'm going to do mostly 10 weight and a little bit of 30 weight. But anyway, so you're just going to use a ratio right, and like I said, I'm going to do 320 cc's. So let's do a little over 200 of 10. Right at 320 right here with the oils. Now you have the spring out. Pour it all in there. So a lot of forks, you will actually measure the air gap, which, you know, you'd sit here and pump it, which you're supposed to do anyway, and then you would use basically a little gauge, a hose, and you put the hose in it, and it measures how much air is in the top, and a lot of them are 120 millimeters from the top or whatever. This specific fork, you can just do 320 if you got all the oil out completely. So now pump it, and I'm gonna throw gold valve emulators in. The emulators go in this way. Oh shit, almost got me. Got the bottom of my hat. All right, so emulator first. Spring. Sorry, I didn't know where I put the springs, but they were right next to me. So then the spring. Then you're gonna run the washers on the top and the bottom of the spacer. Well, I haven't ridden it yet, but she is pretty much done. Got the clamshell on. Man, I think this thing turned out pretty sick. Obviously, I'm going to repaint everything, but I'm gonna do an island theme on this bike. I was thinking silver and gold. If anybody has any ideas actually on the paint for this bike, let me know. Because I'm gonna buy extra tins and I'm gonna send them off to a painter, and my idea at the moment is an island theme, so the bike's like super mellow when it's sitting there, and then obviously when I'm riding it, just beating the crap out of it, it's all riled up and whatnot. But anyway, I think it is pretty freaking sick. I'm about to go get my helmet on and go see if I can wheelie this sucker. I'm gonna have one of my buddies come with me so that we can get literally the first time I've ridden this bike on video. Because when I bought this bike, I literally bought it, rode it around the lot, or rode it around the block, parked it in the bed of my truck, and then did a big ass burnout in the bed of my truck. And then I literally brought it here, never even started it, and just started tearing it apart and working on it. So we'll see if I can wheelie this sucker. But yeah. in conclusion, she definitely likes to party. Multiple things that I want to change from my first ride. When I was doing the forks rebuild, I said I was basically mixing 10 weight and 30 weight to try and get 15 weight. Run 30 weight in that bitch. I mean, it is still, I mean, it's way better, but it still will bottom out if you let it down hard. I mean, obviously, let it into the throttle, you don't let it down so hard. But anyway, so run 30 weight in the forks. When you're doing your preload washers, your spacers on top of your springs, I'd say do about 1 inch to 2 inches on top. I mean, I really sprung those pretty tight. But now it feels good. Yeah, I mean, I guess walk around it. I didn't actually show like a full finished video. The only other thing I'm gonna change is I ordered some 6-inch stems. I'm gonna lower these a little bit. I don't know which ones I'm gonna like better, whether it's the 8 or the 6, but I'm gonna try the 6. I'm gonna change this seat. If you're gonna be riding wheelies, I actually thought any Saddleman would be decent. And from experience in the past, it's been pretty good. But on a Dyna, no, I was sliding off this like crazy. So I'm gonna order a gripper seat, probably get something made from Saddleman. Oh, front brake. I don't know. And I'm doing rollers. My finger, it's just too short or whatever. So I'm gonna get a new Brembo master cylinder for it that has an adjustable one for off like a sport bike. I think it's the 19 that'll fit on these, and you can use stock stock brake lines and everything. It works great. It's just when I'm full throttle, I just can't really get to the brake at the same time. Well, I said it was finished before, but it's actually finished now. I kept burning my damn leg on the exhaust right there. So, man, she's ready now, boy. And Twisted T's got the new minis, the new shot glass, boy. I don't burn my leg anymore. And I'll be posting a lot more videos of me on this bike, and I'll obviously get a lot better at stunting this thing. The videos I posted earlier was literally the first time I've ever even ridden this bike. I rode it on my test ride. I did a burnout in the bed of my truck, and that's literally all, that's hard to say, all I've ridden it. So, anyway, rear tire, everyone always has a different opinion on rear tires. Dunlop 401 or 404 if you're going to do burnouts and wheelies. Shinko's too sticky. If you want to run a Shinko 777 on the front, you know, that'll work. But on the rear, those are really the only 2 tires that I run. Stay away from the Shinkos on the rear. Pretty much anything else is okay. It's just you'll break your transmission on the Shinko. Anyway, other than that, there'll be a lot more videos of it, beating it, thrashing it, crashing it, and whatever else. But anyway, well, thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. And I forgot on the end of my videos, I go, give her hell, praise down.